This is day 1601. And I know it's getting late every night, but it just can't be helped. And maybe I can go on earlier during the day. There's so much is going on because we have a new administration coming in, and they have, I can tell you this, and I will put out the information about, let me make sure that I'm on. Let me make sure I'm being heard. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's start over. I'm on. So this is day 1601, I believe. It's been a long lot of days, and a lot of hours, thousands and thousands of hours. And since Richard was brutally murdered, code red, on Fort Bliss, and for reporting trafficking, but more so, more than that, for being who he is, right? Being um, a man of character, a guidon bearer, a distinguished honor graduate, a Christian, um, an up guy, respectful. All you need to do is watch that video of the body cam footage, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, Richard, you're so beautiful." When you think of what was going on Fort Bliss, and what's still going on Fort Bliss, and the unethical behavior, the despicable, unethical behavior by individuals wearing our beautiful uniforms with stars, that call themselves generals, that want all the respect, yet not have any of the discipline that respect requires, not have any of the ethos that respect requires, not have the obedience to the creed and to the mission of defending the Constitution that respect requires. They need to be absolutely these individuals that were wrongfully put into these high positions because they're up to no good by the Arms Committee, or that they were compromised at Fort Bliss or Fort Hood. And it's been such a busy day. We received information that at Fort Hood, which is Fort Cavazos now, the leadership has been so derelict and so disgusting that they had to change the names. I mean, really, because they just don't even understand our history. They don't even have a respect for our history. And they've done so many terrible things have happened at Fort Hood that they had to change the name. And if I was the Cavazos family, I would say absolutely no way could you use our legacy to put on Fort Hood. No way. You better change Fort Hood first and be deserving of the Cavazos name before you use it. That's how I would feel if I was their family. And then, of course, Fort Bliss. And, when you talk about General Mealy and other generals that have just, they just do not, they need to be stripped of our uniforms, and they are just have no respect at all for our system, for our Constitution, for the creeds, for the Medal of Honor ethos. None. And so, with that, Richard did. Richard had a respect for children. He had a respect. I mean, my goodness, Richard was adopted at the age of 5. Don't you think he had a heart for children? Unaccompanied children? When can you imagine what was going through his heart and his mind when he saw hundreds of thousands of children being taken advantage of that were unaccompanied, and that were taken, absolutely taken. There's no other way to explain hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied children than that they were taken and that now they're mostly dead. Can you imagine? Of course he with the development of his beautiful character, of course he took a stand. And his sister said, "Mom, if there was some strange things going on in the barracks, Richard wouldn't have said anything. But when they started messing with the children, Mom, of course he's going to stand up to that." And, you know, and now we have confirmed that his unit is connected to the weapons trafficking, is connected to the Walmart mass shooting, and is connected to Danae Katzen Gonzalez Sunbreeze on the most wanted list. That's connected to another fraud, another total fraud. I just read an article from 2019 where Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, who has, a same residence as Danae Katzen, they share a residence, was calling for a boycott on the United States, was misrepresenting President Trump. Clearly a hatred for President Trump. Clearly a hatred for the United States, the whole system, by perpetuating a false narrative of racism and also impersonating the wife of a victim. She wasn't his wife, and claiming that she was a widow when she wasn't. And Danae, we have pictures of Danae with Beto O'Rourke. She had a political agenda along with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. And so did Texas Heart. They had a political agenda. And of course, Veronica Escobar had a political agenda. And it was a hatred for MAGA, Make America Great Again. They have a hatred for that. But Richard was a Mark Dice supporter. Richard was a Trump supporter. Our family from the very beginning has been a Trump supporter. We haven't had a dislike for the opposite. We've been working with everybody, right? And now with this administration, the Biden administration, who have helped us. We've worked very, very hard, and they have helped us. We received the declaration of death. Christopher Wray helped with the whole Walmart mass shooting case, believe it or not. Could they have done more? Yes. But the political agenda under the Biden administration is not made to help those that are MAGA, right? They were targeting MAGA. And so we're very grateful for those that worked in that extreme, unfriendly environment to help us to do remarkable things through in a very, very unfriendly environment. And one of those is the only MAGA judge in El Paso County. The only MAGA judge, the only Trump supporting, and I don't want to say Trump supporting. I want to say for the values of Make America Great Again, the defense of the Constitution, the civil rights of the people, the defense of the rule of law, the defense of border security, the defense of military installation security, the defense of ethical law enforcement officers, the defense of an ethical judicial system. There's one MAGA judge, only one, in all of El Paso County. And that is Judge Roger Rodriguez. And he was targeted just like Richard. Just like Richard, standing for what is right. You can't traffic the guns from our unit, the weapons from our unit. You can't order mega supplies, numbers that are not authorized or what we would use that would be good enough for our unit, that you would order more inventory than what we possibly need so that it could be trafficked, and then just tamper with the numbers. Tamper, like Bill Hicks tampers. And I've been told to, because Bill Hicks says he's a Republican, but he admitted in a article that he only said that because he was appointed by Abbott. You know, like he wasn't being truthful to Abbott, Governor Abbott. He wasn't being truthful to the Republicans in El Paso. It was a scam. It was a scam. And now we see the full outcome of the scam. That he's a usurper, that he doesn't care about the rule of law. Right? He doesn't care about the rule of law. He does not care about the Walmart case. He does not care about El Paso, the victims. He does not care about the military, the civil rights, the violations of civil rights going on in the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court. No, there's only one MAGA judge that cares about the rule of law, only one that put his life on the line. And our open records absolutely have told a story about the whistleblower witness, Judge Roger Rodriguez, the only MAGA judge in the El Paso County. In El Paso County, I wanted to say judicial system, but I just want to say in El Paso County. And that submitted what he saw, what he knew, and others, Bill Hicks, I'm sure he knows a lot. But there was only one that was a true MAGA, Make America Great Again, meaning defending the Constitution, the rule of law, our military, our borders, our civil rights. And that is Judge Roger Rodriguez, in his official capacity, submitted a whistleblower report, complaint about the tampering with our son's file. And thank you, Anicia, for coming on so late. Thank you. Just one. And that has, right now, what does that mean? What does that mean? So a MAGA judge, who everyone knows, we have a picture of him with Ted Cruz. Everyone knows that he is the only MAGA judge in El Paso County. And now with the new administration coming in, and it is a MAGA administration, they have made that very clear that it is a MAGA administration. And with the stoking of the Black Lives Matter trying to reinvent themselves after the Daniel Penny verdict, which is very political. And I remember when they were burning the opportunity zones, and the opportunity zones were MAGA. Okay, they were established by President Trump. They were the inner cities that were receiving tax breaks. I believe it was tax breaks, but all these incentives to have small businesses in the inner cities, to reestablish the inner cities. And and I talked about this years ago, and this was Catherine Austin Fitts, was one of her podcasts that I listened to that explained and showed this, and I thought it was a wowzer, right? And that is that these opportunity zones that were MAGA, that were put in under the administration of President Trump, were now targeted to be burnt. And if you overlaid the maps, the places that were set on fire were the opportunity zones. And that is a wowzer. It was political, purely political. The opposing party did not want any success for MAGA. And so in El Paso, the Walmart mass shooting case was a targeting of El Pasoans, a PSYOP targeting. And some of those leaders were Danae Katzen. We have her with Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke was one of them. Of course, Veronica Escobar. She's totally opposed to Make America Great Again. Beto O'Rourke opposed to Making America Great Again. Danae Katzen opposed to Making America Great Again. Another political in that respect was Dallas Hart, not Dallas Hart, Texas Hart. Texas Hart made it clear, um, leading the division. But the biggest one was Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. I mean, as far as not, well, she wasn't Veronica Escobar, right? Veronica Escobar is the biggest, right? She refused to even meet with President Trump for the victim's sake, for El Paso's sake, for unity's sake. And then she promulgated the false narrative of racism and white supremacy, which absolutely is false. That was a targeting of El Paso with a false narrative. And that's why I really believe they need to do a thorough investigation into this manifesto, because I really believe that Patrick Crusius and that manifesto was just also a targeting. It wasn't about the white supremacy. It was about the politics. It was about dividing. It was about tearing America apart, not making America great again. And so when the only MAGA judge, who was very well known for being the only MAGA judge, and I should have talked about Rosa Maria, this article, and I'll put it up. You can find it, where it's in Spanish, and you can have it translated in English pretty easily. But she was calling for a boycott on the United States. She was working Mexico against the United States, a country that, I mean, we have a deficit, right? Anyway, she was calling for a boycott, which would have been just devastating. So she was working to tear countries down, bring in division. And she was absolutely a fraud. Absolutely a fraud in so many ways, and totally criminal. And it was these individuals, these same individuals that targeted America, targeted making America great again, sowing division, even sowing division in Mexico, sowing division, trying to tear things apart. These are the very criminals like Leilani Hart, trying to tear family apart after family apart after family apart, and being involved in Hart's child care, when absolutely they're so criminal when it comes to how they treat children and how they abuse children, their own children. And her son is the prime suspect in the brutal murder of our son. He was Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart. They just want to bring destruction, division. Anything that's good, they want to destroy. Children's innocence, they want to destroy. children's futures they want to destroy. And it was these same individuals with immigration problems, with sex cult problems, with abusing children problems, with delays reporting. Everything was, and Lalani Hart speaks Chinese. And there is, well, let's just say a lot's been happening behind the scenes. And the media is even reporting that you have a Navy recruiting office there in California that is all in Chinese. They only speak in Chinese and they only target for recruitment into the United States Navy the Chinese. Now, what's going on? And we're a very diverse country. We have a very diverse military. Um, but something is wrong. And these same individuals targeted the only MAGA judge. They targeted the MAGA whistleblower soldier, the whistleblower judge, the MAGA family. They absolutely knew this criminal group absolutely knew what kind of politics our family has, that we are a pro Second Amendment family, pro First Amendment family, that we are MAGA, Make America Great Again, that we want to bring people together. And, in our belief, the only power, the only power that brings people together fully is God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. And I saw that when we went to Israel. That was the biggest lesson, is where the Trinity was, is where all the people were singing together from all over the world. That's where all the people were. In harmony. We were singing with the Romanians. There were people from all over the world, every continent. And that, well, it was the garden, the tomb garden. They have all these Joseph of Arimathea's land where Jesus is said to have been laid to rest. We went into the tomb, and they have these sections. It's a huge garden area, and they have the bleachers up, and all these people from all over the world come and sing. They sang, and we got to do that. It was just amazing. Richard got to do that. And he was targeted by a group that wants to divide, that wants to hate, that wants to cheat. They want to cheat, and they want to commit fraud, and they want to lie, and they want to lie, and they want to lie. Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia is one big lie. They impersonate and they target. And her and her family targeted Richard, targeted our family, and targeted the only MAGA judge whistleblower. The only MAGA judge who had the courage, because of his stand on Make America Great Again. And I don't want to speak for him and his faith, but because, um, when you're the only MAGA judge, what makes America great again? The respect for the law, the respect for ethics. And if Richard's investigation is being tampered with and interfered with, and your belief is the rule of law and making America great again, then absolutely you have to stand up and whistle blow in your official capacity. That's your character. And so he was then targeted by Leilani Hart, by Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, and through El Paso Matters, which is El Paso Community Foundation, who has a real conflict of interest and a long history with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. So, what is happening now? The atmosphere, the environment, and I thought that we would have to wait until January 20th, right? I can't even imagine what January 20th is going to bring. Um, I'm hoping we're going to get our son's remains, that we're going to get accountability. And we were told in code yesterday that Michael Flynn is going to play a big part in this, that he's MAGA, that he is working with the border czar, Tom Homan, who's also MAGA, and that the commander in chief, of course, the ultimate MAGA, President Trump, is not only the commander in chief of the military, but also the chief law enforcement officer. Therefore, today you saw that Christopher Wray put in his resignation. And like I was saying, Christopher Wray did do some things to help us, and we worked with him, along with anybody else that would work in that kind of very destructive, anti-American administration of the Bidens and Harrises. So, what can you do when you're in that kind of environment where you do one thing to help, you have to do it under disguise or whatever, because you're going to be targeted, like Richard, like our family, like the only MAGA judge, Roger Rodriguez. So, to have the chief law enforcement officer uh, be sworn in on January 20th and be MAGA and stand for MAGA and be MAGA friendly, putting forth a whole environment, a whole administration that is MAGA friendly, and Richard being MAGA, and Judge Roger Rodriguez being MAGA, and our family being MAGA, things are looking very, very good. And that is the message that we have been getting. The danger is that there are those that mean to harm. And you saw that with the attempt on President Trump's life. You see what they're willing to do with Richard's case. You see what they're willing to do with the Walmart mass shooting, the victims there. You see that they're willing to lie and cheat and tamper with cases. You see what they've done through the media. Bob Moore, he's just a disgrace. What they did to Yvonne Rosales, which, Yvonne Rosales didn't know how much we would have her back. And she's been so betrayed for so long. She didn't realize that we would absolutely have her back, that we're MAGA. She didn't realize. And so she only has just a few days. But we absolutely have her back. And she's not even MAGA. And we have her back because she was doing her job as well as she can, being in this is my point. She was in that divisive hatred environment. And she was trying to do the right thing. And they caught wind of it and they targeted her. And they schemed to take her down. And temporarily they succeeded. They succeeded. Now, for her, it was bad. And and I hope that one day she recovers from that. I really do. And gets back on her feet. And maybe she'll join the MAGA. Maybe she will. Maybe she'll say, wow, I want to make America great again. I don't want this environment where you have to walk on glass and protect the traffickers, protect the schemers. I mean, we need to know where those $12 million went. Who got those $12 million from the Walmart mass shooting victims fund? Who got it? We need to know. We need to have a real count on that. Along with, because I think that you'll see it has a real connection to Richard's case. That's what I think you'll see. I think the names that will come up will be shocking. So we are getting word that absolutely General Flynn is going to play a part. And Tom Homan. And of course, Kash Patel. It looks very good for Kash Patel. It looks very good for Pete Hegseth for the DOD. And, so we are counting days to Christmas. That's Christmas. And then for January 20th. But it looks like there's a lot going on even before then. So it is just wanted to put some dots together. So you have Rosa Maria calling for boycotts to America, yet cashing in, oh, that country that I can go and commit fraud and get hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, Um, yeah, it's bad. Um, then you have, oh yes, soldiers at Fort Cavazos human trafficking. That was also told to us today. That's going to be important because it's a good uh, piece of evidence in uh, the breakdown of the leadership, the system. So, for the need that we absolutely need to hold these leaders accountable, they need to be stripped from their positions, and we need to get MAGA generals in position. What do I mean by that? Those that will honor the rule of law, those that have uh, a respect for ethics, that they will be ethical, that they will honor their creed, that they will honor their oath to defend the Constitution, that they will honor their obligations to their service members. That's what I mean by that. None of this serving other countries, foreign and domestic, right? Betraying their service members like Michael Xavier Garrett absolutely has betrayed his soldiers, his service members. He is just absolutely criminal. Mealy is criminal. Donna Martin is criminal. Sean Bernabe is criminal. Um, uh, Command Sergeant Major Jakovitz is criminal. Richard's unit. Who knows what the judges, the illegally appointed judges, um, what they did, what the JAG did, is, so that's all coming out. And we're also looking at the border. There's information coming in that connects El Mayo, Zapata with Richard's case, um, through these planes, through, it's, uh, it is something, y'all. And of course, this trafficking network, of course, the traffickers are connected to Richard's case because that's what he was reporting on. And along with the cartel, um, I don't know if the lead cartel individuals, uh, I don't think the word that I'm getting is that they don't order a hit job on a uh, United States soldier. Um, this is a rogue, we called them a rogue criminal group. Rob thinks that, yeah, uh, rogue criminal group that targeted Richard because of his whistleblowing, but they made it even worse out of their hatred, because of him being a Christian. They made it a hate crime because he's MAGA, because he's ethical. They just could not entrap him, even though they tried. And they didn't. They weren't successful. And because they are uh, possessed with the want for destruction and chaos and crisis, and they profit off of it. They profit off of the chaos and the crisis. And um yeah, it, they were willing to kill, and they did. So we're going to absolutely keep going. The environment seems to be getting friendlier and friendlier and friendlier. Um, we, yes, that has been communicated to us. So I just want to thank everyone for following. Please share, and please share this important information that Judge Roger Rodriguez is the only MAGA judge in the entire county of El Paso, Texas. I think that is huge. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.